Hey, what is up guys? So Legacy of the Valiant sneak peek going to be taking place tomorrow, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the heads up on some of the best cards that you want to pull out of your packs, or if your friend or if someone pulls some of these cards, hopefully you can trade for some of these cards. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, and we won't be covering the common and rares, we're just going to be covering like super rare and up, but you know, there are good commons in Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, let's kick it off with one of the best cards out of this entire set, number 101, Silent Honor Ark. This card is absolutely crazy. It's probably one of the best generic rank 4s that you can actually get in the game right now, simply because it basically absorbs a monster and then it protects itself, so really fantastic in that aspect, although they do have to be in attack position. Next up we have another great generic rank 4 monster. It's Evilswarm Extinction Knight Judgment Dragon, it should be the name, but this card, for me, I find it kind of bad to introduce cards like this where you're at disadvantage because maybe you played really bad, you made a misplay, maybe that you know, you walked into a torrential tribute early on in the game and you lost a lot of advantage, but you know, you just go straight into this, you know, Wolf Bark into, you know, rank 4, and then like, oh hey, you know, you're back right in the game with one card. But you know, the thing is, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, hand advantage almost means nothing, and this is another card that kind of supports that idea, because you know, if your opponent played conservatively and was saving up for a combo, and you're just like, oh, you know what, let me just like wreck your entire field. So this card is really good. Basically it blows up your entire field. Although, wait, it's like you can't conduct your battle phase. Once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and their side of the field than you do, you can detach one material, destroy all other cards on the field. Also, your opponent takes no further damage this turn. So I guess that's like all damage, but still, this is another card where I don't like the idea of it, but nonetheless, it's a great card. Next up, we have a trap card, Skill Prisoner, kind of similar to Breakthrough Skill in that aspect that you can activate the trap card twice by, you know, once by activating it and then once by banishing it. So basically, it stops any monster's effect that targets cards, so that's pretty good. I think that is awesome. I mean, Effect Veiler obviously has a lot more things that it can hit on. Obviously, you can't MST or Trap Stun on Effect Veiler, so that's always good. But nonetheless, it's not a bad card at all. Next up, we have some more support from the Noble Knights, and I'm briefly just going to say, as far as the Noble Knights go, why are they so darn expensive? They haven't been doing anything as far as I know in the OCG and in the TCG. I know there's always some new OTK, and I know that this card opens up other doors for OTKs, but the thing is, there's a whole bunch of decks that just have OTKs, and the thing is, this deck, don't get me wrong, it's pretty consistent, but what the deck really needs is a reinforcement of the Noble Knight. That's what they need, or just a card that, I mean, I know there's what is it, not a Phoenix of the Feather, what is that, Hidden Armoring, where it lets you add an equip, but then you lose your normal sub, and therefore, there goes your combos. But they really need like a Noble Knight reinforcement of the army. That would make the deck absolutely ridiculous, but nonetheless, I think that these will be hot cards, simply because I don't know for what reason Noble Knights are expensive. Like I said, they haven't been doing anything, but who knows, they keep on releasing some more support for it. Oh, we got, wait, what the heck did I, okay, well I guess I have this card tabbed twice, but nonetheless, we have extra support for Gravekeepers. And I find it interesting that this card is a secret rare, considering Gravekeepers or considered a budget deck, also a structure deck, which usually supports the idea of a budget deck in the first place. And unfortunately, since this card is secret rare, I feel like a lot of players will be discouraged from playing Gravekeepers because it's an expensive card. But who knows, maybe if they don't really see much play. Gravekeepers are a very slow deck, and you know, they kind of like to play this game of control, and you know, obviously with you know, people knowing about Vanity's Emptiness now, that's a really popular card, and Gravekeepers very rarely special summon, and well, they don't really need to if they really don't want to. Actually, we have another secret rare, Rainbow Kuriboh. This card is absolutely fantastic for collectors, is really about it. I mean, I don't think anyone will really play it, but it's not a bad card. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can equip it and then it can't attack. And then when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. And then so like, it has some utility, but at the end of the day, Waboku, Threatening Roar are much better cards if you actually want to prevent yourself from getting OTK'd. I know that this card technically has like multiple effects. Plus, it is technically a light card, but I was thinking that it might be interesting to run Imperial Iron Wall as like a really trollsy deck that just like, you know, abuses Rainbow Kuriboh and it keeps on special summoning itself, because you could basically prevent yourself from ever getting attacked. So I'm sure someone will try to make some broken thing where they get to, I mean, you basically get to infinitely get back Rainbow Kuriboh because, you know, Iron Wall doesn't let you banish the monster, so that's good in that aspect. Next up, this card actually hurts Noble Knights, it hurts Spellbooks, anything that just searches. Basically, it's like a Maxi for other decks that just like to search a lot. Because Maxi, as we know, is not the greatest card against something like Spellbooks, but this card obviously is really good. And it's a quick play, so I like that idea that you can set it if the MSE, you can chain it, and then at that point, it's kind of like a Maxi in a sense where your opponent might just like stop their play and they'll just be like, okay, I'll pass it. So that is a pretty good card. And I think this is more of a side deck than anything. I feel like Maxi, to me at least, still warrants the main deck over Shared Ride. Because there are some decks that just really don't search more than like one card per turn. They can just, you know, obviously stop. Like Spellbooks, like I said, is a deck that can search a lot, and they'll probably just end up stopping and waiting next turn anyways. Next up, we have Downerd Magician. I think this card is absolutely fantastic just because it's one of those XYZs like Thunder Charger where it's like, oh, well, this card kind of has that downside because it's only during your main phase 2 you can, you know, XYZ someone with this card using a rank 3 or lower XYZ monster. So I think that is pretty good. It has piercing damage and it gains 200 attack for each material attached to it. So I guess if there's like, I'd say on average like, because you have the XYZ obviously as material, and then you have like maybe one attachment, so boosting your attack up by 400, you know, 25 is not bad. I like how it says during your main phase 2, because I hate the ability to go for Volcasaurus and going for Gaia Charger, and it's like, well, the downside of Volcasaurus no longer exists anymore. But, you know, I like this card just because, you know, it's a dark, so maybe, you know, more targets for BLS, always good. But the thing is, mostly because it's just able to be just like thrown on top of other stuff, just for more cards and more like free advantage in the game. The way I see most of these cards where it's like Constellar M7, like Gaia Charger, it's like you are already at a significant advantage if your XYZ monster successfully got its effect off anyways. Why are you giving them more advantage by just saying, oh, okay, I lost all my materials, I got all my effects, now I'm just going to go ahead and throw this on, and now I have like a completely new monster with either more attack or more effects, so kind of disappointing for me as far as like the game state goes, but the game does have to evolve. Next up we have Gravekeeper Nobleman. I thought that was a woman, but I'm pretty certain that looks like a woman to me. But anyways, we'll discuss that another time. But this, I swear, that looks like a woman. Anyways, so basically, when this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's attacking monster and sent to your, why does it just say destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard? Why does it have to be with an attacking monster? I don't know. Anyways, basically when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Gravekeeper's monster from your deck in face down defense position, except for another copy of itself. So it basically allows you to go spy, flip spy, and then go off with your shenanigans. So this card's pretty good in the deck. And I also just wanted to mention this card. I don't think this is like the greatest card because it's level 6. If it was level 4, it would kind of replace the macro in a sense, or the defissure that's at 1 right now. So this card has the effect, all monsters' effects that activate in the graveyard, except for Gravekeeper monsters, and negates them. So that's pretty good. It could probably only be used in Gravekeepers because, you know, obviously this card gets it out really easy. If it was level 4, I think it'd be much versatile. I feel like Banisher of the Radiance is still overall just much better for those other decks, but hey, if you're playing Gravekeepers, not a bad card, but I don't think it's the greatest card to actually pull. I just wanted to mention it. But next up, we have some more support for the Bujins. And we have Arasuda, which I've actually already talked about on my channel a while ago. Basically, what it comes down to is that it has like some small draw power, but you can also go for special summons and then be able to go for an XYZ play. So I think that is pretty good in that aspect. Just a little bit more support. They keep on releasing more support for Bujins. They're going to eventually be amazing once they just release the spellbook of the Bujins. But anyways, this is Bujin Hair, so it's kind of like Turtle. But during either player's turn, you can banish this card and target one. Target one Yamato is what it should say. One Yamato or Mikazuchi, and then that monster cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. But, you know, you can still take the monster with a big eye, so you can argue that, you know, Turtle might be better in some aspects, but then again, the other card might be better in other aspects, like Hair. But I don't know, I still think that they're basically, like, in a sense, they're like the same idea of just protect your motto as hard as possible, so going back to the same idea. Because obviously Turtle won't do anything against something like Judgment Dragon. Next up we have Bujin Pavo. So when a beast, well, basically when Yamato and Mikazuchi is destroyed, they all just need to say that. But they might just release some other ones. But anyways, so you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one Bujin monster from your deck, and you can only use the effect of him once per turn. Otherwise, that would get kind of insane. Just be like, oh, it's cool, let me just go for like 2 cards. But this card, not bad at all. I mean, it has that aspect of keeping a monster on board, because that is one thing the deck can lose to. But there are certain decks, like Downerd Magician, will just blow up the field. It just doesn't care. It's like, just gonna keep on blowing up the field. But you don't get to drop the crane on me. I'm just gonna pop the field enough times where you just completely run out of resources. Next up, I'm just gonna show off this card for the Sylvans. There's also the tree card. There's also the field spell. There's also the promo card. There's also Sylvans. The way I see Sylvans, it's kind of one of those decks. I know that this deck can technically kind of set up as far as what card that they excavate or reveal, then send to the graveyard. The way I see the deck, if you're interested in playing a deck that has this whole chance aspect, Lightsworn is a much faster deck, because this deck, it plays set cards. If you've played Yu-Gi-Oh! From the last, couple formats, you should know that setting cards is usually not the greatest thing to do, because your opponent's just gonna be like, oh, you set cards? Okay, I'm just gonna go off. And then, by the time it flips and gets its effect, your opponent has already got so much advantage to where you probably have already lost, either the field control, or you're just gonna lose, card advantage. And I know, like I said earlier, card advantage almost means nothing, depending on the deck you're playing against. Something like Gladiator Beast is an awful deck to top deck out of, but other decks like Lightsworn, they're just Judgment Dragon, right? But the thing is, the way I see this deck, like I said, is I feel like Lightsworn is a much better chance, a surprise deck, surprise factor, and also it's just the monsters are just, Judgment Dragon is just, it's too good. I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, Asian Ice, you keep on saying Lightsworns are the best deck. I'm not saying they're the best deck. It's just that I know a lot of people will be playing them once that structure deck comes out, because it's an easy deck to play, and a lot of people just want to play the deck. It's just how it is. I get matched up against Lightsworn at least once a day when I play. Next up, we have some support for Ghostrick. Now this is the card that Ghostrick have been asking for forever, and they finally got this so they can make the deck kind of faster, to kind of make LU card faster. And I like how there's no restriction. Just go ahead and special summon any Ghostrick monster from your deck and face down defensive position. That's actually a really insane effect, but we'll have to wait until they get more support, because I've seen this deck played out so many times. It very rarely does very much. I know that they can attack directly, and then they flip through the flip-flop again, and then nothing happens. I summon I'm just gonna say Judgment Dragon because it's easy. Or I can say something like, I go Megalo and just go game, or I know they have a little Battle Fader card, but the thing is, I'm just gonna go be like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and go for a huge play, and if you Battle Fader me, I'm gonna go for Gaios, and then at that point, you basically lose anyways. Next, they're just too slow of a deck. Going back to the same idea, setting cards is not optimal in Yu-Gi-Oh! Although that kind of has this idea of oh, you destroy me, go special something, or flip this card face down, draw a card. Next up, we have Powered Inzektron. Now this card basically just it's a stepping stone to make deals. The was it King Dragon of Darkness or something like that. It's a really good card. It's a new level 8 synchro monster that's coming out. I don't recall. I think it might be in the next set. I don't recall exactly. It might be a jump card, but. Anyways, we need better level 6 synchros in the game, and this is not really a good level 6 synchro monster, other than the fact that it basically lets you have a stepping stone for Beal. So when this card is synchro summoned this turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Also, you take no damage. So what I like with this card is, like I said, it's a stepping stone for Beals, the King of Darkness, or Dragon King. Like I said, I forgot its exact name, but nonetheless, you go ahead and make this guy, and then you top deck one for Plague Spreader, and then you have this card that can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and then you have Beals that can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. So I like that card just to make Beals, basically what it comes down to. But lastly, we have Obedience Schooled. I think that this card has a lot of potential to be really, really broken, because anything that special summons, 2 free monsters are pretty good. They have to have different names from your deck, and their effects are negated, and they're destroyed during the end phase. And if you activate this card, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for Beast-type monsters. It's supposed to help the, what are the raccoons called? The Tanuki? Whatever they're called. I think it's meant for them. It might be for something else. It might be for Fabled, although you can't really try to Quasar out of this, really, because obviously you can't special summon anything for the rest of the turn except for Beast type monsters. But I know that eventually this card will be broken. There will be someone that actually breaks this card. I'm trying to think of some combos. Let me know, guys, if you have any combos with Obedient School, because I really feel like this card has a lot of potential to be really broken eventually. We'll just have to figure out what combination. I know that their effects are negated, but there are always things to get around that. Whether you send it to the graveyard, then you bring it back or something like that. But it has that restriction of only Beast-type monsters. We'll have to wait and see in the comment section if anyone finds out how to make this card really broken. But as far as the entire set goes, those are the cards that I personally found out to be really good, super rare and higher. I'm not counting the commons because, you know, well, I mean, let's be honest, Vantage and Emptiness is a pretty good common, but for the most part, I would assume most people are just interested in seeing the higher rarity. I'll probably go over some of the other commons and other rare cards that are just good in the set, but for the most part, I mean, the cards that you want to trade for are pretty much the ones I mentioned above. So let me know, guys, what is your favorite card out of this entire set? Personally, for me, I love number 101 Silent Honor Ark, although I find it a little bit OP. Not quite as OP as this card, and the whole game aspect of Extinction Knight where you can just exhaust your hand. Oh, cool, I'm just going to blow up your field anyways now. I like this card a lot more because it's a little bit slower of a card, like when you compare it to like this, and it's like less sacky or kind of unfair, I would say, as opposed to the Evilswarm card. But like I said, let me know what your favorite card out of this set is, and if you felt like I missed out on any cards that were super rare or higher that were not mentioned in this video, hey, let me know in the comment section below. But happy sneak peek, guys. I hope you guys pull something good. I'll be going to sneak peek tomorrow, and I'll be opening up my packs and showing off you know, what's good in the set or how to play sneak peek. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.